Hi guys, my name is Kuchi and welcome to my channel. Wherever you are, whenever you're watching this video, I'm sending you guys so much love. Welcome to my book channel. I created this space because I love to read and I want to embark on a reading journey, reading more books, learning more things with you guys because that's what makes it fun, okay? As a teenager, I used to read so much. I read everything, like from Horrid Henry books, Jacqueline Wilson books, Twilight books, whatever it is, I read it. Simpson comics, I read everything. I was immersed in fiction. And you know, as time goes on, life starts to life and I just didn't have time anymore, you know? I had bills to pay. And I just stopped reading. So this year, I want to read more and to hold myself accountable. I thought I could start a book channel where we can read together and make it fun. So in 2024, I read a whopping 8 books. I know it's not the big numbers, like 20 books in 1 year and 12, 15 books. I'd even make it to 12. But, you know, baby steps. I'm gonna step it up. I love to discuss the 8 books that I read with you guys. So please grab your beverage, grab your blankets, and get real cozy. And let me take you through the 8 books that I read in 2024. First book I read in 2024 is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. This book literally snatched me out of my 5-year reading slump. The book is set in the city of Cork in Ireland, and it follows a young woman called Rachel and her colleague turned best friend turned roommate James. Together they navigate their 20s, the chaos of being undergraduate students, they navigate love, friendships, the awkwardness of finishing university and life thereafter, and also the financial crash in Ireland. This is an unconventional love story because Rachel falls in love with her professor. Characters felt so real. Rachel, James, I felt like I knew them. I felt like I've met them before, so they felt very real. The whole bunch of them felt real. And the chaos and the messiness of the characters was so entertaining. If you're someone who has made stupid decisions in your 20s, then this is the book for you. Or heck, any age, because we've all been there. Age, you can be stupid at 40. But honestly, this book was really funny. I found myself giggling at times. I love the way it mixes humor with rawness and vulnerability. And it's honestly such a good way to get yourself out of a reading slump. Honestly, I would recommend The Rachel Incident if you're looking for something that is light-hearted but funny and easy to read. I read this so quickly. Looking for something to just snatch you out of that reading slump, then this is the book for you. I rate this a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book I read in 2024 was The Arrow of God by Chinua Achebe. This book is honestly a masterpiece. I truly enjoyed it. This book is set in 1920s colonial Nigeria and it follows a man called Ezelu, the chief priest of a god called Ulu. It follows his power struggle between his own tribe and the British colonial forces and also the Christian missionaries. It highlights the change that happened when the British colonial forces came to Nigeria and how the Igbo customs and traditions changed. It's very heart-wrenching and very thought-provoking. I learned so much from this book about the Igbo customs. There were so many Igbo proverbs in this book. I'll give you one actually. Wisdom is like a goat skin, every man carries his own. Excuse me? Do you get it? I enjoyed this book. The book has so much depth. It's got so much Igbo customs and culture, and also the characters are so rich and the setting is so vivid. It's honestly such a good book. Achebe really brings to life a pivotal moment of African history. If you are someone who loves thought-provoking and powerful literature, then The Arrow of God is most definitely a book that you will enjoy. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 star rating. The book I read is The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. I read this book as part of a book club and honestly I'm still recovering from it. This book is set in 1960s in Florida and it follows a young man called Elwood Curtis. He's a good kid, he follows the rules, and he's inspired by none other than Martin Luther King Jr. himself. Elwood stays out of trouble and he's aspiring to go to college. Unfortunately, life is unfair and Elwood ends up being sentenced to a hellish reform school called the Nickel Academy. The Nickel Academy, Elwood meets another young man or young boy called Turner, and Turner, unlike Elwood, is cynical and he's hardened by the harsh realities of life. However, him and Elwood form a friendship and they begin to navigate the horrors of the Nickel Academy together. The book was based on a rural reform school in Florida, and honestly, reading about the rural reform school and everything that took place was so heart-wrenching and rage-inducing. When I finished this book, I honestly cried hot tears. Literal hot tears streaming down my face. It was really sad. But the kind of sad that makes you happy but sad. I felt very lost. I felt very anxious. The ending is just wow. I don't want to say anything that spoils it for you, but the ending got me. At the book club, I found it interesting that some people didn't actually like this book. I really did enjoy it. I think it captures so many emotions, and the fact that it's based on true events made it all the more raw and vivid. So trigger warning when you do read this book, but if you're looking for something emotional and vulnerable and just good, read The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. Oh, and also guys, actually, this book, you can read about it or catch it in the cinemas. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This is my 4th book of 2024. This book follows a young woman called June Hayward, a white author, who steals the manuscript of her deceased Asian friend. She steals it, she edits it, she finishes it, and then she publishes it, passing off the work of her friend as her own. Sis, girl, why? R.F. Kuang, through the use of this book, critiques the publishing industry. It's a literary thriller with some sharp commentary. This book takes a deep dive into the question of who gets to tell a story about race and culture. The main character, June Hayward, is annoying. Very, very annoying. I don't think I liked her once, honestly. But she's the kind of annoying that you don't like her, but you still have to I had to keep going on to see the nonsense she was gonna do. June Hayward is an unreliable narrator. There were times where she would feel remorse for stealing her friend's manuscript, and there were times where she would lie and be so selfish. This book was actually really entertaining. I do love an unreliable narrator, and I felt like there were so many twists. There were a few twists and turns along the way. One critique I would give this book is that June Hayward's character, for me, sort of simplified the issues around race and representation. Because her character was so annoying sometimes, I felt like it did take away from the key issues in this book. But all in all, it was very entertaining. I read through it so quickly. It's not a very big book, so I read through that very quickly. And I would give this a 3.5 stars because whilst it was entertaining, I wanted more, but I just wanted a bit more, but still worth a read. So grab this one. This would make a very good TV show. A very good TV show. So yeah, this is 3.5 stars out of 5 for me. So now let's talk about the next book that I read in 2024. That was Chain Gang All Stars by Mr. Nanakwame Adjei-Brenyah. This book, Mr. Brenyah, you deserve a standing ovation because I love this book so much. So this book was set in a dystopian alternate reality where 2 women gladiators fight to death for their freedom within a depraved private prison system. And honestly, this book was fantastic, like so good. Critiques the violence within the penal system and also asks us the ultimate question of whether people who have committed the worst crimes are deserving of inhumane treatment or death, or are they capable of redemption. This book is raw, it's real, it explores love, death, crime, forgiveness, self-forgiveness, redemption in a way that you won't forget. Honestly, it's going to stick with me for a very long time. I feel like the perfect line from this book that sort of like captures, you know, Chain Gang All Stars is, I'm just going to read it. It was all death, slow or fast, painful or sudden, nothing more. The culture of Chain Gang was death. I honestly don't want to give too much away, but I 1000% recommend you read this book. If you're looking for something exhilarating, exciting, something that will keep you on the edge of your seats and keep you guessing, honestly, then you must read Chain Gang All Stars. It's perfect. I read this during autumn and I really enjoyed this. This book actually would make a fantastic film. Like, I'm waiting for the film to come out. Someone needs to make this a film, because it's got enough description, yeah, and enough imagery that it can be captured on the big screen. So what are we waiting for? 5 out of 5 stars. Really recommend it. So yeah, when you read it, let me know what you thought, because it's one of my favorite books that I read in 2024. I love this. So the next book I read is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This book follows the main character, who is a woman called Alicia, who's a famous painter, and she commits a horrendous crime. She shoots her husband in the face, not once, not twice, but 5 times. And then she never utters another word again. Admitted into a mental care facility called The Grove, and she just never speaks again. And then we meet a man called Theo. Theo is a psychotherapist who is fascinated by Alicia's story, and he's convinced that he can help her to talk again and reveal her motives and why she did what she did. I did enjoy this book, honestly. I enjoyed the writing style, the pace of the story, and the characters kept it very engaging. The only thing that actually let this book down for me was the ending. I found it predictable. I feel like I've seen that done before many times, or maybe not many times, but I've definitely, it just didn't strike me as original, basically, the ending. And that is my one critique for it. And for that reason, I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. It was good, but not great. But should you read it? Yes. Maybe after you've read all the stuff you really want to read first. But yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. Decent book, interesting premise. Next book I read, which is the 7th book of 2024, was Ex-Wife by Ursula Parrow. I read this book whilst on holiday in Turkey, and let me tell you, it was the perfect beach read for me. The Ex-Wife is set in 1924 New York, and it follows the marriage of Patricia and Peter and its unfortunate demise. For the 1920s, Peter and Patricia have a very modern marriage. They both smoke, they both drink, and they both work. And they honestly enjoy each other's company, and you could tell that they really loved each other. They have a real come-up story. They start off really poor and being unable to afford like the bare necessities, and then suddenly the both of them work and they have a come-up. They become sort of, I'll say, middle class, wealthy, and suddenly that trust is that they had, because they had like a very honest relationship in the beginning of their marriage. That trust that they once had was broken. And who do you think broke that trust? So Patricia's divorce actually devastates her, and it forces her to reevaluate everything she thought about love, especially being such a young woman in love. And honestly, I think the book is revolutionary. It captures the feelings of women in the 1920s. It's thoroughly entertaining. It explores love and marriage and loyalty and love affairs and heartbreak and divorce and ambition and selfishness, scandal, all in the backdrop of a society on the verge of a feminist awakening. Like, I couldn't honestly put this book down. It's so captivating, and the characters are so lively and so colourful. There's so many like relatable quotes that, like so many relatable quotes that when I was reading, I was like, whoa. Like, for instance, let me read you some. The choices for women used to be marriage, the convent, or the street. They're just the same now. Marriage has the same name. Or you can have a career, letting it absorb all emotional and energy, just like the convent. Or you could have an imitation masculine attitude towards sex and a succession of meaningless affairs, promiscuity, the streets, that is. Taking your pay in orchids and dinner dates instead of money left on the dresser. Cluck it, cluck that tea. What? What? Why does that make sense today? And another line that I loved, was, it is not true that in time one gets over almost anything. In time one survives almost anything. There's a distinction. If you're looking for an emotional, raw, entertaining, vulnerable book, a good read to really enjoy and sink into, Ex-Wife is the book for you. This is a solid 5 out of 5 stars for me. I'll actually be rereading this book again. I'm not sure when, but this will get read by me again. 5 out of 5 stars. Read it and tell me what you think about it. If you liked it, if you could relate to it. Because hey guys, we are on the last book, the 8th book that I read in 2024, which is honestly one of my favorite reads of the whole year. But I think I'm biased because I love the film so much. Last book I read in 2024 is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. If you've not heard of Gone Girl, if you've not seen Gone Girl, you are very lucky, because now you get to experience it from scratch. So I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm not going to give you even the plot of it. Just go and read this. This is some good stuff. This is a good book, okay? So read the book and then watch the film, and you're in for a treat. Out of 5 stars, 10 out of 5 stars, in fact. So guys, that is a wrap. That is all the books I read in 2024. Thank you so much for watching till this point, watching till the end. I really appreciate it. This is my first YouTube video and I had so much fun making it and discussing these books with you. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, share it. If you have any recommendations, put it in the comment box below and I will be going through them to find out what you guys are reading. If you've read any of these books that I've read in 2024, please let me know what you thought about it. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you love them? Did you hate them? I love finding out people's opinions of different books because it's so subjective, you know. So thank you so much for tuning in. I've had a blast. And yeah, just like, comment, subscribe, stay blessed, stay safe. Mwah.